Hi, I'm Rick Anthony, and welcome to the Someone You Should Know podcast, the podcast that focuses on musicians, authors, and interesting people. We like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. So sit back, have a cold one, and get ready to meet someone you should know. Now, if you happen to live in the Chicago area and watch the news on NBC Channel 5, WMEQ TV, then you already know today's podcast guest. He is an award-winning journalist with 6 Emmy nominations, and he's so much more because he's an accomplished singer. Bet you didn't know that. But you're going to find out in this podcast. Will you please welcome Evrod Cassimy. Welcome, bud. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
I got the name right?
Yes. A pleasure. Yes, and I'm so glad we were finally able to connect and make this all happen. My schedule it's insane, but you know, I wanted to make time to do this.
Absolutely.
And to chat with you.
Awesome. Very good. Now, the first portion of this interview is going to be Evrod, the news journalist. Second part is going to be Evrod, the musician. First off, I heard you grew up in Rockford, Illinois. And when did you realize that you wanted to have a career as a TV journalist?
You know what? Once upon a time, there was a high schooler named Evrod Cassimy who always was nosy, I guess you could say, but also had a love for writing. And my mom was actually the one who said, you should be a TV news reporter. You get to ask questions. You get to find out all the information. You love to write. And I said, you know what? You might be onto something. That was my senior year of high school. That's when I decided. And I went to college for that at Columbia College here in Chicago. And I realized I loved it. I didn't just like it. And it wasn't just a career. This is what I absolutely love doing.
And that's strange because I went through, as soon as I graduated high school, I went through Armed Forces Radio and Television. I was the Air Force. I was 20 years Air Force. And I worked for Armed Forces Radio and Television. And I loved the radio side, hated the television side.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a great face for radio, so you have a great face for television, sir, and to be on the radio. Now, I see you went to Columbia College. You got your degree in television broadcast journalism, bachelor's in that. Where did you go after that?
After I graduated from Columbia?
Yeah, as far as what are some of your first stops before hitting Detroit?
Oh, my gosh. I've worked all over, sir. I started my career in Grand Junction, Colorado, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
I'd never even heard of it. A friend of mine we were both interns at NBC here in Chicago when we were in college, and he started, he was a year ahead of me, so he started working there. I called him up. He said, hey, we're hiring. I sent him my demo reel, and the rest is history. I met my wife there, you know, and here we are all these years later. But I've also worked in Madison, Wisconsin, Orlando, Florida, Richmond, Virginia, Denver, Colorado. Wow. And then just before Chicago, I was in Detroit, Michigan for almost 10 years.
Now, that's right. And that's what I want to talk about next. You worked at WDIV in Detroit, where you were a morning anchor.
Morning and noon anchor.
Morning and noon anchor. I saw some of the stories, especially when they did that going away for you. You really covered a lot of ground. Any favorite stories come to mind in your early days?
In Detroit, I did a segment called Inspired Today, where we brought a little bit of joy to people who were kind of down on their luck or had something tragic happen to them. And who lost his 17-year-old son in a tragic four-wheeling accident. And when I interviewed this man, watching him not just cry, but sob inconsolably about losing his son, who he described as his best friend, was a story that resonated with me because at the time I only had one child. I have 3 now. And my firstborn is a boy. And I could never imagine that type of grief, losing your child. Right. And to see how much it affected this man. I mean, it was very clear his son was his best friend, and to lose a 17-year-old, you know, parents aren't supposed to lose their children like that. And I remember being emotional during the interview, but then on top of that, when the story actually aired and they came back out to me on camera, thank goodness it was a 2-shot, which is when both anchors are on camera. I was inconsolable. Like I couldn't even speak because it was such an emotional story. So that's one that sticks out to me the most. And then I have 2 more. When I worked in Denver, Colorado, and while I was there, a first for me, and I would imagine a first for almost anybody that would cover a story like this. But I covered a story of a family nudist resort that existed right in
Denver
area. And I interviewed a man and a woman. They were completely naked. Completely naked. And that was a first for me. Okay. I've never done anything like that. And I can guarantee you, because there were plenty of people that were in the background as I was taping my on-camera portions. And I can almost guarantee you that that is a story that while everybody watched it, no one heard a word I said. Because everybody's so fascinated with the fact that these people are standing in front of me with absolutely no clothes on. It took a lot of creative editing.
Yeah, I would imagine.
to do that story. But I remember once that story was assigned to me, pretty much all of the interns that were working with us that day were like, we're coming on that shoot with you. So that was another memorable story. And here in Chicago now, I just did a story that I even had to cut the interview short because it was so emotional. I was at the White Sox Stadium and I was meeting a little boy. He was maybe about 2 years old, maybe 3 years old. And he had a fatal illness, and he wasn't at the point where he was speaking full sentences just yet, but he had a month to live. Oh, and so the White Sox, everything that they could to just make that day special for him. His family was spending the last month that they had with him trying to create memories, photo-worthy experiences so that they could have this with their child. And so it was a great interview because you saw this family, this patriarch of this family trying to create memories for his wife and their other children and, you know, his parents. And he's holding this child that he knows in 1 month is no longer going to be with us. And he was strong through the whole interview. But towards the end, you know, I asked him some questions that really had him think what life was going to be like when his child wasn't there. And, you know, he lost it. His wife was crying. I even was crying. And I stopped the interview because there really wasn't much more to say, you know, except to pray for them and to wish their family well as they continue on what will be the hardest month, I would imagine, of their lives, but then also the beginning of a hard rest of their life that would be post grief. So that was pretty tough, but it also just showed you, like, you know, life is short. You don't want to ever take life for granted, and to always tell the people that you love them while they're here.
Yeah, take the opportunity to tell them while they're alive. I bet you got home and hugged your kids a little bit extra that night, didn't you?
I got home immediately, and then I also started collecting like game balls for them while we were at the park, because it's just like, you know, you want to do everything that you can for your kids while you can.
From what I can tell, you're a heck of a good father. Let's give a shout out to your kids there. What are their ages and their names?
So my kids, they are Malachi, Shay, and Chloe, 2 boys and a girl, 11, 6, and 2. And my wife's name is Danielle, who is the matriarch of our family.
Absolutely, she's the boss. Now you moved to WMAQ in Chicago, which is Channel 5 for listeners there. Yep. When can listeners catch you on TV?
They can catch me on TV on weekends at 5 p.m. I'm the weekend evening. And then I do reporting during the week, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10 p.m.
All right, very good. Now, before we give you some music, like I've been teasing you with, I want to thank the listeners for tuning in to the Someone You Should Know podcast. We are on the web at Someoneyoushouldknowpodcast.com. There you're going to find recent news, our archive of past episodes, and a whole lot more. We invite you, if you happen to be visiting for the first time, let us know how we're doing. Leave us a review and let us know how we're doing. We are so blessed to be heard. We are heard in 78 countries around the world, over 1,550 cities. I want to salute a couple of those: Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada; West Palm Beach, Florida; and Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Someone You Should Know podcast, heard wherever quality streaming audio is available. And I want to say thanks again for tuning in. We are talking to Evrod Cassimy here, and we're going to talk music now. And I stumbled upon him. He was doing a news report. I think it was about a tornado in Chicago. And I said, Gosh, that guy's got some great pipes on him. He's got a great voice. So I did a little digging, found out he's singer. He's a great singer, musical performer and everything. When did the singing and writing begin?
Oh, my goodness. I would say my parents would tell you when I was 3 years old.
Are you kidding me? 3?
Yeah.
Singing in church or what? Or
yeah, singing in church, like a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
And my mom will tell you the song and everything. It was for kindergarten graduation. It just so happened to be mine.
Uh-huh.
My father was the principal of the school, so they put me in school early. But kindergarten graduation, the song was called In His Time.
Uh-huh.
I went to a private Christian school, and I really have been singing my entire life. As far as writing goes, so I've always loved writing. I would say when I was in 4th grade, I wrote, and I actually just found them here in my house in Chicago. I wrote books and typed them up on the computer, printed them out, and my parents got me moving boxes that I would cut out the cardboard box in the size of a book, and I created a spine and everything. And I actually stapled it and glued it all together so that I had a book with a hard cover. And my photos from 4th grade and 5th grade, my school photos, my parents would order those, and I would put those on the inside cover of the book and type up an about the author. Like, I was really, really serious.
You were
about
really
this.
serious. You should have been.
You
should have been a publisher. maybe that's afterwards or so.
Maybe I like to think that this was the true self-publishing before self-publishing is what it is today.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did a number of those. Even remember when Choose Your Adventure books were really popular.
Yeah.
Turn the page, whatever. If you would like to go in this direction, or turn. I even created books like that. And I remember the title of one of them was Mike Jones Runs for Class President, which was a true to life story, because I ran for class president when I was in 5th grade. So I enjoyed all of that. And so as I got older, and you kind of merge the two things that you enjoyed doing, which is singing, which I've been doing in church my whole life, and then now writing books. Okay, well, my parents also put me in piano lessons and stuff like that. So then I was able to start writing songs, and eventually linked up with producers, and the rest is kind of history. Here we are, all these albums later, and
Yeah, I want to talk about some of those albums. In 2018, you started your own record label called Everything Evrod Entertainment, and to date, you released Was it NewSync? Is that how you pronounce it? NewSync?
Music. So it's
Music.
Yep.
Music.
So everything Evrod Entertainment was the record label, and then our first project. Listen, I'm the only artist that signed to the label, so I don't know how big of a label you want to call it. But the first project was called Music. If you look at the cover of the album, it is the news side of me, which is the news, and then the music side. So news and music.
Love it. That was like disco jazz was Daz back in the day. I remember that.
Yeah.
Then you had Just Evrod in 2019, E3 in 2021. You did a live album. You did an EP called The Life of James in 2022, and you even did a Christmas album. Did I cover everything?
Honestly, I think you did a lot of work. I think that covers it all. Oh, you know what? I did a remix to one of the songs on E3 featuring a rapper from the rap group that was made popular by Eminem called D12. So I have a rapper on there. And then a woman who was on season 16 of The Voice is also featured on that song as well.
Wonderful. Now, the first song we're going to feature. Now, you've been waiting all this time for a song, right? So we're going to give you a song right now. And this is my personal favorite. I played it for my wife, and she says, gosh, what a wonderful song. It's called Blessed. What's the backstory on Blessed?
Ooh. You know what? A lot of my music, actually, all of my music is very personal. The backstory on Blessed, there was a time when, I'm trying to choose my words very carefully here without giving too much of this song away. I feel like people tell you that you can't do more than one thing. People like to put you in a box.
Absolutely.
If you're a radio personality, you're a radio personality, but you, for some reason, can't be a radio personality and a pilot, let's say. And so for me, Blessed, and a lot of my music, but Blessed in particular, is about knowing that you are truly blessed and that you can really do whatever it is that you want to do, and that what's for you is for you and nobody can take that away from you.
Awesome. Very good. Let's play that song right now. From the album E3, here's today's podcast guest, Evrod Cassimy.
I've been working so hard on this music, and one's closest to me won't give me a chance. Not gonna lie, it killed my joy. I wanted this since I was a little boy. I had big dreams and big plans. One day I would make it and show all the non-believers that I was something. Somebody once told me that success is a sweet revenge. Here we are on album 3, yes. Can nobody take away your shine? Can nobody take away what's mine? Just gotta believe in yourself. You are blessed. Cause sometimes they try to do that, try to get you behind your back. Don't worry and don't stress, you are blessed. For years now, I've been putting in work, so vulnerable for what it's worth. But they gave him everything that should have been me. But that's okay, I'ma get my blessing. I have big dreams and big plans. I'm gonna work towards them, yeah. Show all the non-believers that I am something. Somebody once told me that success is a sweet revenge. Do good to those who hurt you, pray for them. Can nobody take away your shine? Can nobody take away what's mine? Just gotta believe in yourself. You are blessed. Cause sometimes they try to do that, plot against you behind your back. Don't worry and don't stress. You are blessed. Say you are. Say you are. You are blessed. Say you are. Say you are. Say you are. You are blessed. Say I am. Say I am. Say I am blessed. Say I am. Say I am. Say I am blessed. Can nobody take away your shine? Can nobody take away what's mine? Just gotta believe in yourself. You are blessed. Cause sometimes they try to do that, plot against you behind your back. Don't worry and don't stress. You are blessed. Can nobody take away your shine? Can nobody take away what's mine? Just gotta believe in yourself. Cause sometimes you try to do that, plot against you behind your back. Don't worry and don't stress. You are blessed. Say I am. Say I am. I am blessed. Say I am. Say I am. Say I am.
Great music from a man who is truly blessed. Evrod Cassimy, and the music is so good. He's had a chance to open for Patti LaBelle and Boyz II Men and Tamar Braxton, and even got a chance to hang with the legendary Aretha Franklin. Your thoughts on those special moments?
Unforgettable. Moments that I never take for granted. I remember each and every one of them like it was yesterday. And I think that if I didn't have photos and video and all that kind of stuff, it would be just a distant memory. But Aretha Franklin was a dear friend of mine. Her family still is to this day. I still talk to each and every one of them. I love her to death, literally, and she will always be in my heart. Her family will always be in my heart. Patti LaBelle, I'm speechless when I think back to that moment, and she was so kind. That's what I remember the most about that moment. Not to mention the call when I was asked if I wanted to do it, and I remember telling my station that I had been offered to open for Patti LaBelle, and she actually signed off on it. And my boss, I think, almost didn't even believe me either, because I was told that she even called the venue to find out, is this really happening? And they were like, yeah, we want him. Patti LaBelle wants him. And
that's fabulous.
It was great. Boyz II Men, they were great. Tamar Braxton was great as well. I've been really, really fortunate.
I talked to Patti LaBelle. She was releasing an album back in, I think it was 2001 or 2002, and she was just an absolute delight, like you said, just an absolute delight. Very accommodating, and she said, I'm going to send you a picture because you did such a great job and everything like that. So she sent me an autographed photo, and it was just so delightful. Such a lovely, lovely lady. And let's talk about something else regarding your music. You helped raise over $100,000 to benefit inner-city school students. I saw this on a news clip that you did on your final day at WDIV in Detroit. You got an honorary degree from Cass Tech High School, is that right?
Yeah, it is. I did a lot of work with them. I feel that I have been truly blessed in life and in my career, that it's very important to me to give back to other people. My parents are retired educators and have always stressed the importance of education. And so for me, in releasing these albums, which are all just for fun for me, I'm having a great time writing and recording, that I found a way to have concerts that I made sure were always free for people to attend, and would donate money that was raised to the high school, specifically their performing arts department. And so I did that with each album. I always found that to be very important. And I remember with The Life of James, which was my last project in Detroit, before I moved to Chicago, they told me that I'd raised over $100,000. Where did the time go?
You did a great job, man. Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Everyone applaud. Everyone's doing a golf clap in their car right now. Next song we're going to feature is called You Know, You Know. What's the story on that tune from E3?
Ooh, that story, I can tell you, it's not about me personally, but I will say it. Eventually, my friends know that if they talk to me long enough and tell me about their lives and everything, it's going to end up in a song, or it's going to end up on a news story. So this story is about things just moved really, really fast in their relationship, and the chorus says, when you know, you know. And that's truly how I feel about love in general, relationships. How do you know you're supposed to be with this person? Well, when you know, you know. And nobody else can tell you, yes, this is who you're supposed to marry or be with or whatever. You just know. So this is You Know, You Know.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just know. It's You Know, You Know from Evrod Cassimy right here on the Someone You Should Know podcast.
It was my birthday. We was going off that wine, sipping all night. Thursday, beautiful hazel eyes got me hypnotized. I swear I never fall in love. I had given it up, yeah, I had enough. The chickens is all out of love. I'm what they want, but they cannot touch. This cutie had me losing it. Got me thinking about wedding rings. Give her the mic, show me she could sing. Now she's moving in. What was we thinking? When you know, you know, you know, you know. Let our love explode, explode, explode. Like an overdose, an overdose. When you know, you know, you know, you know. When you know, you know, you know, you know. Let our love explode, explode, explode. Like an overdose, an overdose. When you know, you know, you know, you know. I let her meet the family. Got my brother making trips out to Cali. Calls me a king and she likes what we can be. Forever we will live happy. This love got me feeling so high. Like GDP touching the sky. My queen got me loving life. Watch her on TV all night. I've been working on my PhD. Yeah, I like it, so I'm gon' put her in. Give her the mic, show me she could sing. Now she's moving in. Yeah, what was we thinking? You know. Let our love explode. Like an overdose. When you know. When you know. Let our love explode. Like an overdose. When you know. No need for pretend, I'm not gonna swipe. You're all I need in my life. And it's evident you are heaven sent. Yes. When you know. When you know. Let our love explode. Like an overdose. When you know. When you know. Let our love explode. Like an overdose. When you know.
Great music right there from Evrod Cassimy right here on the Someone You Should Know podcast. You know. The next section is a fan favorite, Evrod. It's one of my favorites too. This is called Tales from the Road. Those are those infamous road stories where things didn't go quite as planned. You being a musician and also being on television, I'm sure you've got some interesting stories where things didn't go quite as planned. What would you say Evrod's Tales from the Road might be?
This is a very funny one. I have gotten laryngitis in the most untimely times and most inconvenient times. I will give you one that happened in the past and then one that happened like in Detroit, like more recently. So every year in Detroit, they do a Thanksgiving parade. It's the second largest Thanksgiving parade in the entire country. Second, of course, to New York City. And it's televised all over the country. And I remember waking up that morning. They brought a car service to pick us up and were taking us to the set to get in position. And I was just like, oh, my voice is, a little scratchy, a little raspy. And, but, no big deal. I just woke up. It's like 2:00 in the morning. And so I grabbed my tea, get in the car service, and I'm taken to the set location. And I noticed that my voice was just not where it needed to be still. And as the morning went on, I mean, it's a very long morning. It starts at, the show I think starts at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. and it goes all the way till noon. Live coverage, pre-parade coverage, the parade, and then post-parade coverage. And I remember as the pre-parade coverage is happening, my voice just continues to go away. Eventually getting to the point where one of the interview guests that came on the show, I couldn't even speak because you couldn't hear anything from my voice. So the whole interview, the whole 3-minute interview, I'm sitting there as my co-anchor is doing the interview and I am not saying a word. And mind you, the viewers have been watching all morning and have noticed my voice getting progressively worse. And eventually we went to a commercial break and the general manager called and said, we're going to have to pull you. We feel so bad. Your voice is completely gone. You can't do a parade with no voice.
Absolutely.
And I felt so horrible that she actually came to the set to give me a hug and to tell me it's going to be all right. But, we had hours more of show to go. Mm-hmm. And here I am with no voice. Thank goodness we had people that could step in at the last minute and all that kind of stuff. But that was the most inconvenient. Fast forward to The Life of James, which I know we're going to hear a song from in just a little bit. But The Life of James, I did my concert fundraiser. It was on November 5th of 2022. Leading up to it, all the rehearsals, everything was absolutely perfect. And we were going to have, my band and I, we're going to have the most incredible show because this was my farewell to Detroit show. This was the last concert fundraiser I was doing in the city. And this was literally the day before we were leaving to go to Chicago. And I remember a few days before, felt a little raspy, a little sick-ish, but I knew I was going to be fine. And I actually went to the doctor and I think they gave me a shot or something like that to help with my voice. The morning of the show, the stage crew, they're loading in their stage. I wake up and I have no voice. It is completely gone. And mind you, I'm telling you, I did everything. I drank tea. I drank tea with lemon. I drank tea with lemon and honey. I drank tea with just honey because the show wasn't until about 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So here we are, 8, 9, 10 in the morning. I even went back to urgent care telling them that I have laryngitis. I have no voice. I need you to give me whatever potions you need to give me, but I got to get my today. It didn't work. It didn't work. And mind you, this was going to be the biggest show that I have had. I mean, I've been doing it for a few years now, and this was supposed to be the biggest one. We had the biggest venue that we've had in years, and it was going to be packed, standing room only. We knew that, and I couldn't let them down. You know, we've got a whole staff full of people that are participating in this show and making it a huge success. So I am absolutely panicking. I don't lip sync. The mic is always on. I sing live. And I showed up at rehearsal, my sound check, at 3 p.m. So we're 3 hours out from the doors opening, actually 2 hours out from the doors opening. And I told my band and my stage manager and the stage setup crew and everything. I said, guys, I've got no voice. I can't sing. And mind you, these are some of the hardest songs to sing that I've written. And I said, there's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to do this show. And we tried. They're like, maybe you can lip sync it. And I was like, I can't do that, because then in between songs and when I'm talking and all that kind of stuff, they're going to know. Yeah. So I made the final call and I said, guys, we're going to have to pull the whole show, but we've got hundreds of people that are coming. So what we're going to do, I said, we're just going to do a live Q&A with the host of the show. And we're going to tell everybody what happened. Yeah. And then we will allow for a moment where we play all of the songs from this EP. There are 4 songs on it. And then we'll let the audience ask questions. You know, this will be their time to interact with me and say things that they wanted to say. Okay. You know, a lot of these people have never met me before and that kind of thing. So we did that. We started the show. We had a big, huge introduction, a video that plays and all that kind of stuff. And then they introduced me and I came out and there were 2 chairs on the stage, and I let everybody know I'm not going to be singing that night. Because I clearly had no voice. I could squeak out answers to the questions, but to be able to sing full voice was just not going to happen. And I kid you not, it was the best one yet. It was the best one because it was a raw and real conversation, and people were able to say goodbye, you know, and to say things that they wanted to, just about the news in general, the coverage that I provided over almost 10 years, the charity work that I've done. It was a very emotional show. And I greeted each person at the end, and it was a great way to wrap things up. But a tale from the road, I lost my voice. Yeah, and I did a whole concert.
I'm going to share something with you because I always lose my voice too. Usually I catch bronchitis once, because we're sharing the same microphone. You know, as far as that goes, all the jocks are using the same microphone. Here's one. I had a vocal coach come on. I was like last October, November. She said her remedy is this: 3 parts water, 1 part pineapple juice.
Oh. Because
there is an ingredient in pineapple juice, something molecularly in pineapple juice, that causes your throat to relax. Huh. So keep that remedy aside. 3 parts water, 1 part pineapple juice.
Now, where was she when I needed her?
I know. The same with me. There's been so many times where I'd be, you can't talk, and it just did, and I've actually had program directors say, listen, you need to take a couple days off. We'll find someone to fill in for you or something like that. But yeah, that is a good, sadly, that's a good Tales from the Road. Where can we find you on social media?
At Evrod Cassimy on all social media: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of that. And I'm very active on social media too. I love talking to people on social media. It's always fun. People are very kind to me. I know people can be real crazy on social media, but people are usually very kind to me. And I love what I'm doing, the stories that I've got coming up on WMAQ, and what I do in my personal life.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to include those down in the show notes, so if you want to stay in touch with Evrod, you know how to do so. Final thoughts, sir, before we play with the last song?
It's always just so interesting going back down memory lane. And I love talking to people like yourself that really have really good questions that really make me think about some of the experiences. So it's always fun to talk to people like yourself. I love music. I love writing. I love news. And to be able to do what you love is truly one of the greatest things about life, is to be able to do what you love. So to be able to share music with people, I write music for myself, and it's very therapeutic. I'm sure you've heard many people say that, but
Absolutely.
To be able to not just have something that's therapeutic for you, but that people also receive really well is truly, truly humbling. So thank you for chatting, and thank you for sharing my music with the world.
All right, very good. One thing that I have noticed, and people have said music has been dead for the last 30 years or something like that, but you know something? This podcast has made me realize that there's still a lot of great music out there. And another great song we're going to feature, this is called Underappreciated. I'm feeling that most of us have had, it's a sad thing to have that happen to us. How'd the song come to be?
From feeling underappreciated.
Okay.
If I'm going to be completely honest, I think everybody has felt that at some point. And, I think it came to be from me hearing about someone else that I hold dear to my heart feeling underappreciated. And it's not even like that you're feeling unappreciated fully, but it's that the level of appreciation just really isn't there.
Right.
They may compensate you from a work standpoint, or they may say thank you and this and that. But when you're underappreciated, it's like there's efforts that are being there for appreciation, but it's just not sufficient enough. And
Right.
and I think everybody can understand a feeling of being underappreciated, because when you're unappreciated.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that, but underappreciated. And so I wanted to just address the fact that, listen, there's some work that needs to be done.
I agree.
And there you have it.
All right. From his 2022 EP called The Life of James, here's Underappreciated from today's guest, Evrod Cassimy. Thanks so much for being on the show, man. It has been an absolute delight. We enjoy your stories on Channel 5, and we enjoy your music. And I think everyone's going to go out and buy a couple hundred copies of this album because it'd be ideal for Christmas.
There you go.
I'm feeling underappreciated. I'm feeling underappreciated. You think I ain't got nothing to be mad about? Or you be steady using my whole name for clout? I'm feeling underappreciated. Need you to understand how pissed off I really am. How dare you talk to me like that? I'm a grown-ass man. I work hard just like everyone else. Yet I stay humble, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I'm snitching on them. This song sneak dissing on them. You're no straight pissing on them. Cause I'm tired. It's time they step into the ring. I've done the same thing. I'll be fired. I'm feeling underappreciated. I'm feeling underappreciated. You think I ain't got nothing to be mad about? But you be steady using my whole name for clout. I'm feeling underappreciated. Such a double standard, the things they do. Running around and bossing everybody around cause of you. Mind your manners, please, before I get an attitude. And at that point, who gon' check me? Yeah, I'm snitching on them. This song sneak dissing on them. You're no straight pissing on them. Cause I'm tired. It's time they step into the ring. Cause if I've done the same thing, what you think? I'll be fired. I see you giving them the flowers. Time I got mine too. Walk around nose in the air, all because of you. I can't take it no more, so I gotta let you know. I deserve my respect. Baby, cut my check. Saying it again, in case you wasn't listening. Deserve some respect. Baby, cut my check. I ain't finished yet. Listen to what the song says. I'm feeling
Hi, this is Rick Anthony, thanking you again for listening to this episode of Someone You Should Know. Now, if you're an aspiring musician or an established musician that's looking for a little exposure, I invite you to drop us a line at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast@gmail.com. That's someoneyoushouldknowpodcast@gmail.com. Also, I invite you to tell a friend about the Someone You Should Know podcast. I thank you for tuning in this time, and I invite you to check us out next time on the Someone You Should Know podcast, because you never know who's going to show up. Until next time, remember, God loves you, and so do I.